Wes Anderson is here. His new film is Darjeeling Limited, which he directed, he wrote, and he produced. It stars Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, and Jason Schwartzman as estranged brothers who reunite for a spiritual journey through India. Here is the trailer for the film.
You don't love me! Yes, I do!
I love you too, but I'm gonna mace you in the face!
But that didn't really pan out.
I wonder if the three of us could have been friends in real life. Not as brothers, but as people.
To be continued.
Here's what Tony Scott said about this. Part of the pleasure of watching it comes from never knowing quite what will happen next. Not that everything that happens is pleasant. Wes Anderson's world may be a place of wonder and caprice, but it is also a realm of melancholy and frustration, as if all the cool, exotic bric-a-brac has been amassed to compensate for a persistent feeling of emptiness.
Wow.
Any of that ring true with you?
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't see myself as amassing bric-a-brac, but I definitely think, this movie, it's not, it's a comedy, but then it turns into something darker, I guess. Halfway through the movie, there's a shift. And I think, all the movies that I've made have been movies that aren't entirely comedies. They're comedies and they're dramas and they're I'm sure they're about emptiness.
You've said this about your films. I like the idea that my movies can all go on a shelf together and they are connected. I'm perfectly fine if that's the case, that they're of the same ilk in some way. There are plenty of other shelves that people can go to and sit to, and I don't feel obligated to run the gamut.
Yeah.
So what would be that connectiveness of most of your movies?
Well,
why would they be on the same shelf?
I think that's me responding to somebody criticizing me for making the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
Probably, which I get. And I think it's because I deal with the similar themes, but I don't usually think about themes when I'm writing. And there are probably connections among the kinds of characters. I use a lot of the same actors over and over again. And I guess there's visual stuff that you can link from one movie to another. A lot of things that I do the same way every time. But it's just the way I like it, and I feel like it's a mistake for me not to do it, not to do that. If I feel like if I feel like I have an idea what the best thing is for the story, I would just want to follow that, even if it does mean that people can tell it's me.
Here's what else you said. People who like weird people, I guess, are more likely to like my films than people who call people weirdos.
Yeah, I stand behind that.
You like weird people, yes.
It's kind of hard for me to understand me in the way I phrase that, but I think I get it, and I agree with it.
Yeah. You like people.
I would say
people who call people weirdos are not people you like.
I would say. I'm sure I call people weirdos all the time, but I think, but probably what I'm in a very odd way trying to get at is that I don't think like people always refer to my movies as quirky and they think the characters are weird, and for me, I can understand that point of view about them, but almost every character in any movie I've ever made is based on somebody in real life or based on a combination of real people. So even if I take it to a slightly odd place, to me, those are all real people, and they're characters that mean something to me beyond. I'm not interested in the quirks. I'm interested in the whole sum of the character.
If your movies are weird, people are weird.
Yeah. Yes.
Why this movie?
Well, this one came about, I wanted to make a movie in India. That was really the beginning of it. Yeah. I wanted to go to India and learn about it. I hadn't been. Yeah. And I had become fascinated with India, really from movies, particularly the movies of Satyajit Ray, the filmmaker Satyajit Ray. And so I started thinking about that, and then I had an idea that I wanted to write with Jason Schwartzman, who I'd worked with before as an actor only, and his cousin Roman Coppola. They're both my very good friends, and I wanted to see what would happen if the three of our points of view were combined, and what we could come up with. So we all went to India together, and we traveled by train because the movie I had thought I'd like to set a movie on a train, and we had a great adventure writing together.
And did you write as you traveled, or did you wait until you got back and then? sat down and wrote it?
We live in different cities, so we started writing, and we wrote a little bit in New York, and we wrote in Paris, we wrote in Los Angeles, but then when we went to India, we had part of the script already. And I think part of it for us was, I think we kind of had the idea to act out the story a little bit. You know, it's about three brothers, and it's about the dynamics among three brothers and how those, the power struggles that take place. And I think we kind of acted it out as we were writing.
Describe the Whitman brothers.
Well, there's three of them. Owen Wilson,
yes.
he plays Francis Whitman. He's the eldest brother, and he has organized this journey to pull his brothers back together, to make them become brothers again, to force them to become brothers again. And he has this idea that they're going to take a spiritual journey through India and really find themselves. And he's even got laminated itineraries that say exactly how they're going to go about that, which is, not probably something that's likely to work. Right. Adrian Brody plays the middle brother, Peter Whitman. And his wife is pregnant, and he's not really sure if he even wants to be married, and he's sort of at an impasse also in his life. Owen's character has just, he's been in a motorcycle accident. He almost got killed, so that's part of what's motivated him to do that right now. And then Jason Schwartzman plays the youngest brother, Jack Whitman, and he's a writer, and his role in the story is something that we kind of, without quite meaning to, he represents me and Jason and Roman as writers. He's taking very personal things in his life and making them into fiction, and that's sort of his way to get to the next chapter in his life. And our approach with the story was we wanted to make a very, very personal movie. For whatever reason, we were very deliberate about trying to keep it personal and use our own experiences any way we could.
That's more or less it. 3, please. Does that sound okay to you?
Sounds good, sure.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Do you have any questions?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
What happened to your face?
You ever wanted to act in your own movies?
No, not really. No.
Well, you say not really, so just maybe.
Yeah, no, I know.
So maybe. So yes. Just yes.
I guess I could do it. I did act in I acted in a commercial, a TV commercial. I did an American Express commercial, and it was fun.
Yeah. What did you like about it?
Well, they treat you better. They take care of you. They're people whose job is just to take care of you. No, when you're acting.
Oh, when you're acting, yeah.
Actors are
coddled. They want you to look good. They want you to be rested. They want you to be perfect performance.
People escort them everywhere they go. They have it. Although the way we did this movie in India, we didn't have any of that stuff.
In fact, they did their own makeup.
They did their own makeup.
Food.
No trailers.
Prepared for each other. I think someone said Owen cooked oatmeal for Adrian or something like that.
Well, Owen's good with oatmeal. That's one of his. That's in his repertoire. So so he can always do that.
So what did you do?
Those are very healthy guys.
Yeah. How did you get these guys to do this for?
Do it in that style, because they're used to trailers and all that stuff.
Exactly right. And entourages and PR people and
none of that stuff.
7 personal assistants.
Exactly, and that stuff gets in the way. And
so how'd you get them to do it? Would you say no baggage? No baggage.
Yeah, no baggage. It was simple because Jason was one of the writers, so he was already in the loop on it. And Owen, when I went to him and script,
you seem to be to me just at a glance, to be somebody who really has enjoyed, cultivated, served, been enormously satisfied by your friendships. I mean, you're a guy that delves into friendships, and out of that comes work, comes companionship, comes movies.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've always worked with my friends, and sometimes I worry that I enjoy working with my friends. Sometimes I worry that I'm not challenging myself because I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
But I think that goes into my movies. I think that maybe you can feel it when you see the movie on the screen. These people, these collaborators,
almost in a repertory way,
Yeah, and most of my life is spent making these movies. I mean, this is the main thing I do. I mean, it's really the only thing I do. They better be friends.
You have no life outside of movies?
Not a lot.
Yeah?
Not a lot because they take a lot of time.
How are you different as a movie maker today than you were, say, 5 years ago, 7 years ago?
Well, when I first made a movie, I was much more confident. The first movie I made, I was the most confident I've ever been until it was shown publicly. Literally, the night that it was shown publicly, my confidence went away.
It just evaporated.
It evaporated.
Now, why did that happen?
Well, 85 people walked out of the theater in the middle of the movie. I retreated.
That'll play hell with your confidence, won't it?
That gets to you.
Where are you going? It's great. The ending is great.
I went up to the projection booth because I couldn't handle being in the room anymore, and I watched them, and I'd see someone kind of rustling, and I just say, please don't let them pick up their handbag. Just leave if they're going to the bathroom, that's fine. But when they gather their stuff, they're not coming back.
What else might you do if you didn't make movies? Write books?
Maybe write books. I wanted to be a writer before I started making movies. That was what I wanted to be. I also wanted to be an architect at a certain point. So I don't know if I would have done one of those things. I don't know if I would have had. I don't know if I, making movies. I'm lazy. But when I work on movies, I work all the time because I get obsessed with it, and I don't know if I would have had. I don't know if I would have the same. If I'd be able to work in the same way in some other field.
Why did you think you wanted to be an architect?
I don't know. I don't know. I like buildings.
You've seen Atlas Shrugged. Have you seen The Fountainhead?
I hadn't at that time. I think I just liked buildings. I liked floor plans and things like that when I was a kid.
Well, do you have some smart apartment somewhere?
It's not too shabby.
You care about it, right?
I spent a lot of time designing it. Yeah.
Yeah. How about clothes? Are you fastidious about clothes?
I don't know.
I mean, you don't know. You know or you don't know?
I guess a lot of people. Sometimes some people ask me about clothes. I'm in the Vogue.
Well, yeah, of course you are.
I know.
Men's Vogue, by the way.
And I feel silly about it, though. It's
Why?
not. It just seems like what I'm interested in is movies, but I do like clothes. There's no way to deny. I like costumes for characters, and I do like clothes.
You like style? I mean, do you like fashion? Do you like? It's costume. You like the idea of fashion, and whatever role fashion plays in our society.
And I especially like them for characters and stories. The costume means a lot about the character.
It's always great to have you here.
Thank you.
Much success with this film. I think we had a real good look at it, didn't we?
Thank you very much. Oh, there is one thing I could mention.
What's that?
If there's time for that, there's a short film.
Hotel Chevalier.
Hotel Chevalier that goes with the movie. It's sort of an intro to the movie.
Pre-sequel, is it or not?
Yes, that's right, with Natalie Portman and Jason Schwartzman. Yeah, and it's available on iTunes and for free, and it's about to be added into all the prints of the movie on this coming Friday. So it'll be playing in the theater starting Friday with the movie.
Hotel Chevalier.
Hotel Chevalier.
It sort of sets up the Whitman brothers, or
it's just about Jason's character and Natalie Portman's character, and she barely appears in the movie. She's really only in the short.
She is so phenomenal.
She's great,
don't you think?
Yeah, I love her.
I do too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wes. Wes Anderson. The movie is in theaters now.
It's in theaters right now. Yeah, it's expanding. On a
it's going to go large, or what do they call it? Go wide.
Go wide. Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.